Thank you. I feel at home in this high school theater because I brought my diary. So things are going to get really serious now. September 10th, 1980. Today, Mike asked me out. I said yes. He is a cutie. I hope we never break up. What a hunk. Did anyone else have one of these? It's a 5-year personal diary. This one is jam-packed. Journaling has gone from this to being recognized through scientific study and research to being one of the most powerful healing tools. The research being done now is astounding. How the act of writing affects our brain and our chemistry, and how writing about stressful experiences not only helps patients to get better, but it keeps them from getting worse. According to Dr. James Pennebaker, psychology professor at the University of Texas, even short-term focused writing can have a beneficial effect. For instance, when students were asked to write to heal, their grades went up. When individuals wrote about emotional upheavals, they went to the doctor less and showed changes in their immune function. The exercise of simply writing about your secrets, even if you destroy your writing afterwards, has been shown to have a positive effect on health, even for people battling life-threatening diseases. Journaling has come a long way, baby. And this is where it all began for me in this little blue book. In preparing for this talk, I found this journal and I started to go back and read a few things, and one thing really popped out for me. June 11th, 1979. Today was awful, as usual. Everybody thinks I'm little and I can't do anything. It's the only thing on that page, and it's such a tiny but clear entry. It speaks volumes to me about how in that moment I stopped, I tuned in, really listened to my story, and made my mark. It was in my journal that I could dare to be who I really was. And there was so much solace in that. No one else could see it, it was private, and it was all mine. When I take a look at the careers that I have had in my life so far, the common denominator is connecting through story. I studied theater at the University of Victoria and became a professional actor, where I learned the power and technique of sharing stories through a character. I became a playwright, writing one-woman shows, giving voice to stories that I felt compelled to tell. And when I became an addiction counselor, I was trained to listen to the story of addiction, to locate the pain in the individual and the effects on the family, specifically with an ear to hoping to hear those unspoken stories. And now I work as a story and creativity counselor at a retreat called Live Your Best Story, where I help others to connect to the story within them. I think I've always been intrigued, obviously, by stories, books, movies, all of it. But now I see stories in a completely different way. I mean, we all have stories, even those who think they don't have any stories. We have family stories, generational stories, and cultural stories. In our professional lives, we listen to clients, patients, customers, stories. We all have a story within us, that self-talk, that dialogue that is ongoing all the time with ourselves. And that dialogue runs within us and shapes our relationships and our interactions with everybody around us. We have big stories and little stories and messy stories and all the stories in between. I see now that stories are the substance of our lives. Here's a short story. There was this nervous and incredibly shy girl who was in grade 5. In English class, the teacher was very strict, and there was a lot of writing assignments. And this girl would greet each assignment as a challenge and dove into her imagination with such a fervor. She would cut out pictures and do drawings of the characters on the side of the story and color a title page and change it and work on it so hard. And every week when she had to hand it in, she was nervous. Part of her was excited, and part of her was scared. And then she'd have to wait to get it back, which seemed so long. It was almost painful. And when she finally got the assignment back, she wanted more than anything to see the grade and the comments, but she was so scared that she would wait until she got home, and in the privacy of her bedroom, she'd turn to the back page, and her face would go red and flushed, and she'd see, "Excellent work. Keep writing." One day at the end of the grade 5 year, there was an award assembly in the gym. A new award was announced, the Creative Writing Award. And stunned as she was, her own name was called, and her face was red, and she wanted to run, but instead she stood up and she walked to the front of the stage and showed what Dr. Brené Brown calls ordinary courage. She got that award and shook the teacher's hand very awkwardly, because it was difficult for her to be seen. It was like every time she had dared to put her pen on the page to write, she had risked saying, "I am here. I matter." And that day, in front of the whole school, she mattered. Her thoughts and feelings had been poured into those stories. And she walked away thinking, what is inside of me matters. That girl was me. I have created 3 creative journaling workshops and workbooks, connecting to the story within you, self-care for the helping professional, for those caregivers, nurses, counselors, and doctors, and the promises of recovery for those in any 12-step recovery program. My workshops do not require any writing experience. The work that I do is not about writing perfectly or spelling or grammar. The truth about journaling is what I knew when I was writing in this little blue book. I'm here at this full circle moment with the wisdom of knowing that journaling is a powerful healing tool. I quote Jilly Bolton and her wonderful work when she says, "Whatever you write is right." The focus of my workshops is self-care that involves fun, the exploration of creativity, and listening. For me, listening is a gift we give to each other, but we also need to give it to ourselves, especially in 2015, where there is so much vying for our attention and so little time given to process. My workshops are done in groups. We do the writing exercises together. There's a tremendous connection, momentum, and encouragement through the group process. My workshops are available in a 1-day or a 1-hour per week for 6-week format. An easy 1-hour fit into our busy schedules where we stop, we unplug, we plug into and pay close attention to the most important person in the room, which is you. Creative journaling is self-care in action just as much as a good exercise workout is. I love my boot camp. I'm not a star athlete, but I exercise to stay healthy and build up my core strength for the exact same reasons why I engage in journaling. My ask of you today is to help me to connect my message and my workshops to individuals, to organizations, and their staff whom you know would benefit from connecting to the story within them. Thank you very much.